A new report came out this week saying Maine needs to do a better job of bringing more people into our state to be part of the workforce.
And that is because the people we already have will soon be aging out. The Maine Center for Economic Policy says 20 years ago, about 3% of jobs in Maine were going unfilled. Today, that number has doubled to about 6%.
And before you think that Maine is struggling just like every other state, consider this. Over the past 2 decades, Maine's labor force has increased about 6%, while the rest of the country has grown on average by 20%. Soon, it will likely get even harder for Maine employers to fill those jobs.
Because the Maine Department of Labor says if something isn't done to attract new workers, our workforce is actually going to shrink by tens of thousands of people in the coming decade. So that report from the Maine Center for Economic Policy does have some ideas about how to stop Maine's workforce from plateauing. And
as News Center Maine's Chloe Thibault reports, it's calling on local leaders to use them.
We know that Maine's going to need more workers in order to keep some essential services going.
That's a warning from James Mile at the Maine Center for Economic Policy. It comes after the release of a new report earlier this week saying Maine's workforce is plateauing.
Maine has the oldest population of any state, and that's sort of playing an effect. You know, each year we tend to have more people retiring than we have folks entering the workforce.
Mile says this is a problem a long time in the making for our state.
I have found articles from, 10, 15, 20 years ago talking about sort of housing becoming more unaffordable and the workforce challenges to come.
A lack of affordable housing is just one issue he says needs to be addressed. Others include reducing age discrimination and encouraging more people to come to Maine from out of state to work.
I want to work, but before to work, you have to get a permission.
Armando is one of those out-of-staters, a new Mainer from Angola who came here 7 months ago. But he says he's still waiting to get his work permit and wants to contribute to Maine's economy.
With the money, you can buy bread, you can buy clothes, and then you can support your family. Then you can pay the tax. It's very important.
Armando was one of 12 Mainers interviewed for this report, sharing their own personal challenges related to Maine's workforce. Another was a woman named Kim, an ed tech in Oxford County.
I've been working in the same district for almost 21 years, and I'm making $19.83 an hour.
It's a salary she says most people can't afford to live on.
I'm fortunate that I'm married. My kids are out of the house. My mortgage is paid. But not everybody's in that boat.
Kim says she has done her part to express concerns in Augusta, but so far, nothing has changed.
If you don't raise our pay, you're not going to have anybody to educate these kids, and these kids are our future.
A future that hopefully will have the workforce it needs. Chloe Thibault, News Center, Maine.
James Miles says some of the workforce sectors he's most concerned about being affected are care for children and older Mainers and education.